People deluded, I'm back again as usual. Big up you lot for tuning in. Please do make sure you're smashing the like button. You're getting the creative juices flowing. Now the international break is horrible for us Arsenal fans. You know, it's never plain sailing. There's always concerns around players fitness and things of that ilk. Now apparently there's been updates where Martin Odegaard, who got injured in the last international break, and Bukayo Saka, as England go into playing the game against Finland again. As we move towards January, we're getting towards silly season, if I'm honest with you. And Barcelona have been linked with Thomas Partey, Osman Diamande, who we're going to get to see along with Gyökeres at some point in the Champions League, as they both play for Sporting Lisbon, has been linked with Arsenal Football Club. As I said, people, appreciative to have you lot tuned in. Subscribe, smash the like button, turn on your notification bells, and let's get straight into business, people. Now, I'm sure you would have seen in the last 24 hours, Bukayo Saka as well as Liverpool's Curtis Jones have actually pulled out of England duty, people, which for me is music to my ears. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you lot, people. I love to hear that, because Bukayo Saka, for me, as a selfish Arsenal fan, I don't think he should have went off and played in these pointless friendlies or been selected anyways. The same goes for Declan Rice. And, where you look at Timber and Partey, they didn't go off with their countries despite being fit. You could extend that to Tomiyasu. I am forcing it, but it'd be nice if we started doing what other clubs are doing and pulling our players out. Now, that's my fan cap on. From a neutral point of view, of course, you never want to stop players playing for their country. A career is short. You want to get as many caps as you want, win as many titles as you want, and play at the highest level, in which I can't say England versus Greece was that. RIP to George Baldock as well. It was a touching tribute from the Greeks to obviously not only win the game in his honor, but the celebrations, man. Fought so with his family. So yeah, where Bukayo Saka is concerned, neither him or Curtis Jones have travelled to Finland. Saka has apparently returned to Arsenal for further assessment, having been substituted during the second half of Thursday night's match against Greece, people, which is music to my ears. Continuing with stuff again, there's further confirmation he's pulled out, people. Allegedly, there could be good news for Arsenal, though. He could be fit for Arsenal's match against Bournemouth on Saturday, despite withdrawing from the England squad through injury, in which we hope that is the case. I'm pretty sure I speak for every Arsenal fan. We hope it's just a precaution, people. Lee Carsley said Saka would have been close, but it would have been unfair to take a risk with him. He's a positive person, and I expect him to be fine. I mean, I hope he's fine, people. Or you need to, give us some compensation, because injuries can strike at any time. People can get injured for their countries, for their clubs. Obviously, Mikel Moreno has just come back to fitness. He was injured in training, but it does suck where you look at Calafiori, you look at Saka now, you look at Odegaard in the last international break, to getting injured without playing for their football clubs, which is jarring, if I'm honest with you. So yeah, man, we all know Saka is a key player for our title ambitions. We know we need him to be fully fit, and we know he's been in superb form this season. He's got 3 goals and 7 assists in 10 matches across all comps for Arsenal, and we hope that continues, and we expect Saka to get double figures. So big up Bukayo, people. Now, I'm sure, social media and the real world are very different, people, but I'm sure a lot of you would have seen Sky Sports come out and say, contrary to reports on social media, Martin Odegaard has not suffered a setback with Arsenal. Hopeful he can return from his ankle injury in November. Now, you would have seen the Con Marble Halls and the team news and ticks of this world. I am not condemning them. I am not endorsing them. But you would have seen they've been a bit muddied. And to be fair, fellow Arsenal fans are launching a bit of a crusade against them, people, which this is music to my ears. I would love for Martin Odegaard to be fit for our second Premier League game following the international break. We can't look beyond us. We need to deal with Bournemouth, which is going to be a tricky test. But we've got Liverpool, and although I don't know anyone connected to Martin Odegaard or Arsenal's first team, people, you would have hoped that, when he got that injury and the diagnosis came, if there was one game you would hope he'd be available in some capacity, it would have evidently been Liverpool at the Emirates, man. And I know we've done well. You need to be able to cope with injuries. I know we've done well without Martin Odegaard. We've been getting the results. That's what a big team does. Last couple of years, there's been injuries and we've got things done, but you lose a lot in an attacking sense with Odegaard. You lose a lot defensively. He is our captain, and for me, big up Benjamin White, but I would have loved to have seen Timber and Saka's development on that right-hand side. You throw Martin Odegaard into that mix, that would be great, together with what we're now seeing on the left-hand side with Calafiori and Martinelli doing their thing. I don't think necessarily Partey or Declan Rice will be dropped at this moment in time, but you throw Mikel Merino into that mix on that left-hand side, and we're getting back to being a more all-rounded, and I guess the word I'm looking for, people, is balanced team. So yeah, would love to see Martin Odegaard back, but again, crucial crucially, where Saka and Odegaard's concerned, we're not really going to get any real clarity on either player at this moment in time, at the very earliest, until Mikel Arteta has his press conference ahead of the Bournemouth game. And we know sometimes Mikel Arteta can be quite crystal clear on players' fitness, whether they're going to be involved or not. Other times, I think he takes a leaf out of his former manager Arsene Wenger's book, where he's quite evasive. He says a lot but doesn't say anything but says a lot, people. So yeah, we all want to see Martin Odegaard back. Now, again, keeping up the theme with silly season and going into the Bournemouth game, you know, over the summer we was linked with Milos Kerkez, the left back. Since then we've got Calafiori. The way Mikel Arteta is moving with the fullbacks, you know, he could give him 100 fullbacks if they're all going to play like Timber, Tomiyasu, Calafiori, Benjamin White, etc., etc. Sources have told Court Offside that Mikel Arteta appreciates Bournemouth duo Antoine Semenyo and Milos Kerkez. However, if Arsenal are to make a move, they're unlikely to match the club's 80 million valuation. And I mean, they're good players, and, you know, 40 million a pop, I guess. But could that 80 million be spent in better areas? I don't know the targets, but could that be put towards a striker? Could that be put towards a central midfielder? Could that be put towards a, you know, a more long-term option out wide? Because, you know, we don't know how long someone like Raheem Sterling is going to be. He's only here on loan. People at Arsenal view Semenyo as backup for Bukayo Saka, in which we need, while Kerkez could replace Zinchenko or Tini, as one, if not both, will be sold in 2025. It'd be interesting what we do at fullback, because on the face of it, you know, we're well stocked there. But you look at Tomiyasu, I think he's essentially signed a 1-year improvement on his contract with an option of another year. I think the only reason Tomiyasu will be sold by this football club is because of the injuries. You know, Zinchenko, obviously his stock has fallen. Obviously he's got unique qualities that people that play in his role don't have, and I think at least for this year we're going to need to utilize him. But you'd imagine he's on handsome wages. I think everybody would agree you'd rather see Timber or Calafiori play at left back. If it's a game against a Mo Salah, for example, you know, you see Tomiyasu lock him up, you've seen Zinchenko start crying. So you get it. Unless the sun is shining at the Emirates and we're having a bulk of possession, I don't think anyone's trying to see Zinchenko. And to be fair, the last kind of games that should be one-sided traffic, you know, you look at Leicester, you look at, what was the one before? There was definitely another crazy game. It's escaped my mind, but the last couple of games at the Emirates have been filled with that. And, you know, you'd imagine Zinchenko, along with, you know, Zinchenko's up for sale. You would imagine potentially, you'd imagine Tierney's days are numbered. Tomiyasu, if the injuries persist, the club might say something. Although Lewis Skelly can play as a central midfielder, he also can play as an inverted left back. There might, I'm probably right back, there might be a little pathway opening up there. So you never know, people. And, you know, I do think in the next year or so, we're getting into that scenario where we might need to sign players to new deals. I think similar to Gabriel Jesus, which, you know, it's pretty interesting using a thumbnail, getting you lot talking in my last video. You know, Zinchenko, like Jesus, I think they're in the roles that they had at City, because ultimately, you know, they changed our fortunes. Big up Gabriel Jesus for his first season. Zinchenko was the first kind of do this inverted fullback thing, but we've progressed, not necessarily past them, but we've progressed to a point where they're not starters. Unless a miracle happens and their form's out of this world, they're not starters, really and truly. So yeah, it is what it is in that regards. We've gone over that already. Partey is emerging as a transfer target for Barcelona as he nears the final few months of his contract at the Emirates Stadium. It's been quite good this season. Barcelona love a free transfer. Thomas Partey's obviously spent time in Spain before. You'd imagine it's very improbable that he signs an extended contract at Arsenal Football Club. Who knows, people? You never know. Form dictates everything. We know Thomas Partey is highly rated by Mikel Arteta, but his ages, his wages, his durability, which we, you know, at the moment we can't question the 31-year-old. He's been ever present, but you get where I'm going with that, people. Difficult decisions have to be made. Arsenal have been linked with another goalie. Arsenal are casting an eye on Napoli goalkeeper Alex Meret, who used to be a Football Manager legend, with a deal for João Garcia now looking unlikely. Football Transfers has learned from sources that the Italy international is seen as long-term support for David Raya and could even join the club on a free transfer. Meret is out of contract with Napoli at the end of the season, meaning Arsenal can enter talks with the 27-year-old during January if he has not agreed a new deal with Antonio Conte's Serie A high flyers by that stage. Fair enough, people, really. Garcia would have been good, but as you know, the 23-year-old has just been exposed to first-team football. So do you want to give that up? And him, you know, maybe he's the long-term successor to David Raya. Maybe there's a reality where he takes David Raya's spot, even though David Raya, that's unimaginable at this moment in time. How long is a 23-year-old who, you know, is been in the Olympic side with Spain. I'm sure is being earmarked potentially for Spanish caps. You know, really and truly just become the number one at Espanyol. How long, despite respectfully Espanyol, you know, it's a big jump to Arsenal Football Club. How long is he going to want to be second fiddle to David Raya? Because I don't think anyone wants to sit on the bench. But as you know, being a second or third choice goalkeeper is quite unique. And then you get into the prices. You know, he's got a 25.2 million release clause, 30 million euros allegedly. In the summer, it was known that apparently we tried to negotiate lower. That never happened. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on there, really and truly. But we do need to sort out the goalkeeping situation, people. And finally, apparently, Arsenal have been watching Sporting Lisbon closely in recent months to keep tabs on striker Gyökeres, but he's not the only player at the Portuguese Giants they've been following. Mikel Arteta is also refusing to give up on the pursuit of Diomande, a 20-year-old centre-back who has been in Lisbon for little over a year, having completed a move from Michelin for 7.4 million in 2023. We followed him during his days at Denmark. We've obviously seen him firsthand when Sporting Lisbon dumped us out the Europa League, and he's going from strength to strength. He's drawn interest allegedly from Manchester United, Newcastle, and Real Madrid. Would not be against another centre half, if I'm honest with you. Yes, you've got Tomiyasu, Benjamin White, Kivior, you know, and even at a push, Declan Rice. You've got, not that I want to see that, you've got a couple of players that can play centre half as well as a couple of other roles. But if we could get another centre half, you know, to put pressure on Saliba and Gabriel and maybe rest the legs of one, fair enough, really and truly. Of course, for Diomande, you know, you're playing for a big club in sport and you're playing week in, week out. You know, if you reckon you can take either Saliba or Gabriel's spot, that's the sort of mentality we need. But as we know, it's a peculiar situation, people. We've been linked with him for a while. I don't know if there's any credibility beyond that. I don't know if we sign him in January, really. If we could sign someone in January, I'd rather a central midfielder, but who knows, people. So yeah, we've gone over Diomande, we've gone over the keeper from Napoli, we've spoken on Saka and Odegaard, and there's probably some other talking points that I've missed out. Regardless though, people, it's always a pleasure to make videos, do live content with you guys and things of that ilk. So please do me a favor, leave a comment, smash the like button, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.